But Bobby, you are an all-round entertainer, aren't you?
I'm just all-round now.
I mean,
I don't look like that anymore.
But it's impressions, it's singing, it's presenting TV shows, it's Eastenders.
Eastenders, yes.
EastEnders.
I did that for 14 months, and I imagine myself having a sort of romance with the likes of Ronnie or Roxy or Kat, and I ended up having to snog Shirley every episode. No disrespect to Shirley, but I loved it.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I was just getting going on it, really. I find my confidence because a lot of people saw me as an entertainer, and I liked acting. After that, I actually did some more acting. I went and did some plays, and I really enjoy it, so I might do a little bit more of that. But I am an entertainer, a sort of all-round entertainer. Yeah. That's what I truly love.
But making people laugh, it's I guess it's a fairly addictive thing to do, isn't it?
Well, it certainly is. It is like a drug. I missed it so much in COVID because we got locked down.
Yeah,
we couldn't come to
that.
anything.
Yeah.
So it was really tough for entertainers. And so, it was really, I missed the performing of it. I love performing. I do it nearly every night.
And this started when you were a kid?
We're sort of around about 14, 15, yeah. I just had a natural ability to sort of impersonate like God, because he's slowed down a bit, slow, he's slightly more slow, because he's a millionaire again, because he's just taken all his empties back. And he, I've been told not to cram in too many jokes for you tonight. I will.
We don't care. We don't care. I mean, the one thing I knew for certain is you wouldn't behave if you came on here, so that would be hopeless,
I'm very naughty. I'm a very naughty boy.
Making people... There's a lot of... Isn't the problem of being a comedian?
There's a problem now, because of all this woke and the snowflakey stuff.
But when you go out and try to live your life, people expect you to be funny at the local petrol station.
Well, it's nice that they remember me. I mean, someone came up to me tonight and said, well, you don't half look like Bobby Davro, no offence. I said, I am Bobby Davro. They said, really? The Bobby Davro? Yes. I said, the Bobby Davro. He said, you don't hear that name very often nowadays. I said, well, I do, because it's my name. And people do forget about you. But I've always sort of remained there or thereabouts, although I'm not back on the telly anymore.
And why is that?
Well, I can't wood stain a floor, bake a cake, or dig my garden up. So I've got nothing, I can't skate, I can't cook, I can't dance, I've got nothing in the garden, I've got bug all in my attic. So I stand...
Well, there's always reality TV,
Well, I know. I'll tell you something the most embarrassing that happened the other day. The shows we were watching now, it sort of makes me bubble. I was watching Naked Attraction with my daughter. With my daughter, and I didn't even know she'd auditioned for it. Anyway, that's a gag. You weren't too sure.
I got it.
I find it frustrating sometimes, that entertainers, even the talent shows, which everyone's entitled to have a go, and I think that's important, but it's not about the actual turns, it's not about the talent on there, it's about the show. And as long as the people that go on that realise that.
But we had lots and lots of comedy on the telly in the 70s, 80s and 90s. Yeah. Lots of funny shows, lots of shows that really pushed pretty close to the edge of what was acceptable.
Well, judged by today's culture, yes, very much indeed.
Well, almost all of them wouldn't get off the ground now, would they?
Well, not many of them, no. But this is where our problem lies, because with the woke and the cancel culture that's crept in, Black Lives Matter, BGLT or whatever, it's called BLGT. There's so many different letters in the thing.
Got to be really careful.
Yes, you've got to be really careful. Yeah. And it's ridiculous. In a way, it's ridiculous. Because I don't. No, it is. I am. I do respect it. I respect it all, but I don't necessarily agree with the fact that it's bringing us together. I think in a lot of ways it's pushing us apart. It's pushing us. I do. I really believe that. And there's a dilemma that I have. For years, I've been doing this routine when I do Elvis, and I get 3 women out of the audience. Normally, they're white women. Okay, I can say that. And if I get a black woman up and do exactly, or a woman of colour. See, this is where it gets dodgy. A woman of colour, if I were to do it, and it'd be the same jokes for her, because that's what it should be. Someone in the audience would go, oh, well, you were discriminating, or you're being racist towards this lady. And then if you don't ask them to join you on the stage, then someone else will say, well, you didn't include her, because you're leaving her out. So where do we lie? We should all be laughing with each other, not at each other. There's not an ounce of prejudice, racism, homophobia in me at all. I have lots of black friends, lots of gay friends, and we should all be laughing together.
Well, we should be able to take the mickey out of each other.
Yes. Obviously, there's some painful things. The other day, I did a joke about suicide. I said my granddad hung himself on Christmas Day, and as a mark of respect, we didn't take him down the 6th of January. So that's a gag about suicide. Okay, it's a joke. Okay, you've got to remember it's a joke. And someone came up to me and was rather aggressive to me, physically aggressive. And he said, didn't you realise how many people have suffered suicides? And I said, well, I'm sorry if you're offended. And everyone's entitled to be offended, but you can't take each individual's offence otherwise there would be nothing left to tell jokes about.
So is comedy in trouble?
Yes, I think it is, but the likes of Ricky Gervais proves that it isn't. The cancel culture isn't healthy. Just because you don't like someone, if you take somebody like Chubby Brown or Jim Davison, who's a friend of mine, they do concerts, and if the people in the town or in the city want to go and see him, they should be entitled to see them.
So they can still book a venue.
Yes, but the people in the theatre don't think it's necessarily good, so they ban those people. But that's not fair, because we don't all hold the same views, and prejudiced it's everyone's entitled to be offended. Everyone is, but it doesn't necessarily make you right, or it doesn't mean to say that we should all be offended.
And should we have the right to offend?
Yes, we should. Yeah, because but what offends you might not offend me, and yes, everyone's got the right to be offended, but it doesn't mean there used to be an age where people would basically find prejudiced, but now we actually seek it. We actively seek it. We go out there to be offended on things that really we never came into our lives before.
Apart from you,
yeah,
and before all this began,
yeah,
who's the best comedian?
In England, as far as I'm concerned, and this is my own opinion,
yep,
is Freddie Starr. Freddie Starr was probably the funniest guy I ever saw that came through my generation. But there's some wonderful Michael McIntyre's doing an impression of Michael. There's some brilliant young comedians about, brilliant. But there's also comedians from our era, from my era, that aren't really getting a chance to go on there and do it. And people like what we do. And it doesn't matter that you don't.
But Teddy's not doing it anymore.
Well, not really.
Not really. Little bits of it. I mean, when you were, in the 80s, yeah, you were doing a lot of stuff on telly. I mean, you were a big
I had my
star.
go, and everyone has a go.
And you were making the big bucks.
Yes, compared to now, of course not. But it varies, doesn't it? Sometimes, like footballers. I mean, my girlfriend's father was Billy Wright,
yeah,
he earned, I think I'm allowed to say this, he earned £15,000 in 13 years of professional football. Now they wouldn't get out of bed for 15,000 quid. Maybe some of the Palace players.
I got there, semi-final of the FA Cup,
yes,
middle of the table. They've done bad, haven't they?
They've done very well. And one of my friends,
there
Jim,
you go.
He'll be really happy that they've done well. But I think football supporters, it's a bit like comedy. Someone stopped me on a plane once, and I was having a laugh with some friends. Funny enough, a lot of footballers. And I was messing about, and this woman stopped me and said, "You're not funny." I said, "I beg your pardon." She said, "I don't think you're funny." I said, "Well, my friends are laughing." And she said, "Well, I don't think you're funny." I said, "Well, I don't think you're attractive." Doesn't mean to say that you've met someone with bad eyesight that might have married you, but she said, "That's offensive." I said, no, I'm giving it back to you. I don't mean it. But why? And I said it was Alan Brazil was sat right next to me in this yellow shirt, a garish yellow shirt. I said, "Do you like that shirt you're wearing, Alan?" He said, "Of course I like it." I said, "They make shirts like that for people of your taste, and that is what comedy is. Comedy is taste, and you either like it." And Ricky Gervais once said something really wonderful. He said, "I like £1 for every person I've offended with my humour." And he said, "Hang on a minute, I have got £1 for everybody I've offended." Offence is not given, it's taken.
Yeah, and that's all part of free speech.
Free speech, I believe in that. Strongly.
No, well, I actually do think, and some of these stories I cover on here, you can't believe the nonsense that's going on, and yet, I don't know, Bobby, I think that pendulums go back and forth.
Yes, they do.
With these social trends.
Yes,
and I think, I think it'll come back in the right direction.
It shouldn't cause hatred. It shouldn't cause discomfort. I really don't think that it should do. I think I was in PC World yesterday. God, you've got to be careful what you're saying there. Just to lighten it up a bit. But I'm a true believer in free speech.
There you are.
And as long as you're not doing it purposely to create someone, especially as a comedian, I think you're entitled to talk about anything you want to do and joke about it, because it is a joke.
Yeah.
And if I've offended someone, they'll get over it. And I say, "Sorry, I'm sorry you offended."
Well, you want to try big in politics and try to be funny. I had to go.
It's fake news. Donald, I'm doing the Donald just to do an impression for you. Donald J. Trump. What does the J stand for? Genius.
And politically, I'm very neutral. I don't really follow politics. Geopolitics I'm interested in. People like George Friedman I listen to and watch on the videos on YouTube and stuff.
So you like current affairs?
I love current affairs, yeah. I watch it, and I'm a devout atheist, so I watch a lot of stuff about religion, and I respect everybody's faith. But I find that science is the thing that I absolutely...
Devout atheist?
I'm a devout atheist. I don't like religion and what it causes people, but if you have a faith and it brings you comfort, then you're entitled to have that.
No,
I don't find it's knowledge. I love the universe and finding out why we are all here and why we're living in this reality.
So we get into the real Bobby Davro.
Yes, quite serious Bobby Davro. Because I'm a big Brian Cox fan. It's amazing. I'm just cramming a few impressions.
No, good. We love it.
I don't do you. I could try. You've got that thinking. Yeah, but I'm not really political. Tony Blair, I used to do Tony Blair, and I told the same jokes as Tony that I do as Donald J. Trump. So my politics is sort of...
And you've kept out of that, and probably very sensible.
I think so. I haven't got a tough enough skin to really take on the people that have strong views.
Well, and the internet, the internet.
Well, everyone's a critic.
If you express a view, I mean,
yeah.
Do you do social media?
I only do Twitter, really. I don't really understand it. I'm not very good at it. I'm a bit of a technophobe. I do a little bit. But I believe live and let live, the freedom of speech, that's what makes democracy, and that we live in a democratic country. And I'm compassionate. I think you've got to have compassion for people. And, I'm very privileged, but I'm not in that box with saying just because I'm white and, I'll say middle-aged, I'm not even middle-aged, I'm pushing 60, I'm dragging it. And I don't think that we should be compassionate to everybody, to human beings. I don't think we need scriptures to tell us how to be moral. I think you're either moral or you're not moral.
Interesting. Now, lockdown was a catastrophe for you, wasn't it?
It certainly was. It was awful. I had to sell the house, and then sadly my father died, which didn't make things easier. But then there's a flip side to everything. You can look at it, it was an awful time with Dad dying, but because I wasn't working, I could spend more time with him. And so that's the glass half full. You've got to be glass half full.
So what was it, a couple of years without earning any money, basically?
Yeah, 14 months without any money. I sold my house and things were tough. But I'm okay. I'm so much better off than so many other people. I'm blessed. I've got 3 gorgeous kids. And, when I count my blessings, I count them twice. And I'm trying to be as positive as I can.
Yeah. So what next? What next with Bobby Davro?
Well, I'll plug my show coming up in Crewe.
Do
a pantomime on the 27th of May. I will be at Crewe Theatre, Lyceum Theatre, coming up to do a one-man show. I work maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and that's enough for me. I love working. I love singing. I love doing...
well, I've seen your one-man show.
Yes,
it's a bit of everything, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And the poor audience that get dragged out onto the stage, I mean, it's a bit rough on them, isn't it?
It can be, when you say, but I think they enjoy it.
Of course they do.
I don't ever think that, some people aren't going to like me, but that's the same with every comedian, every entertainer. You have your favourites.
Well, I tell you what, if they didn't like it, they wouldn't pay the 25 quid or whatever it is to come along.
Precisely. And when they come up afterwards, which they're going to do on the 27th of this month, and I did a pantomime. I do a lot of pantomimes. I do 2 a year now, pantomimes. So I love doing pantomime, and that's a skill set in its own. You have to learn how to do it, and I'm very proud of being able to go out and make a family audience laugh. From the little toddlers, the teenagers, mums and dads, grannies and grandpas, uncles, aunts, the whole family laugh with jokes that are right for that set. And then if you come and see my live show, it can be a bit risque, but I don't go out there to offend. That's not my bag. I go out there to entertain, but I want to entertain everybody. And that is becoming more difficult now.
It's becoming much more difficult.
But
Bobby,
I still keep trying.
Keep doing what you do. You've brought a lot of joy, a lot of happiness to a lot of people, and I know you're going to go on doing it.
Well, thank you very much, Nigel.
For joining me on
Pleasure
Talking
to
Pints.
meet you.
Great to see you here.
Cheers, you're good
Thank
health.
you.
This is my first drink, by the way. I haven't touched a drop of alcohol for 35 days.
Really?
Yes, that's not consecutively. That's over 25 years. Cheers.
Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.